May I call upon Andre's higher self, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you tell me what is happening to his body and if there is anything we can do for it today?
And the body is good today. There has been much healing that has taken place, and moving forward, we foresee many great things happening for his physical body, um, with the introduction of a new fitness plan and diet plan. And we said before this would happen when the time was right, and there was no need to worry or change anything because it will happen when the time is right, and the time is now. So he has that to look forward to, and this will bring about much change in his connection and his how energy flows throughout his body. So we are preparing for him to be able to um, make great strides in achieving a higher state of consciousness where healing will be able to happen more naturally.
Fantastic. I think you'll look really forward to that.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Great. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Are we able to call upon Dolores Cannon today? We have some questions for her, and we haven't caught up with her for a little while.
Yes, Dolores Cannon is here.
Thank you so much for coming in today, Dolores. I really appreciate that. I'm always curious to find out what your thoughts are about humanity, and I haven't heard from you for a while because we've been so busy. So, is there anything you'd like to share with us?
I have to laugh because it's so strange to hear you call me Dolores. Because now I'm not Dolores. I am back living my life as energy. And it is nice to be reconnected with that part of me each time that I connect with you and to others who call me in. And I love that I'm still attached in that way to my fabulous life on Earth. And what I would like to share is that from this perspective, uh, it is both uh, wonderful and hard to watch the goings on the planet right now. It is the beginning of the fall of life as we all know it, the collapsing of the structures that were no longer serving humanity, that never really served humanity in the first place. And the view from the ground is that things are falling apart. And to this, I would say, yes, absolutely, things are falling apart. And this is so wonderful for the plan, so wonderful for where humanity needs to be going. And this more than ever has been a time where you have all needed to keep your faith strong, your connection strong, and your wits about you, and remaining in a place of projection, of moving forward, progression with your own journeys individually is the most beneficial thing you can do right now. If you can work on yourselves and change your individual contributions to the collective consciousness, then humanity's consciousness will continue to rise and rise and rise. And I'm seeing this all over the place, and I'm feeling the difference in energies. I'm feeling the progression. So when there's nothing that you can do to physically help the timeline and the causal events that situate within each timeline. You must work on your own timelines, your own journeys, and this is how you can help humanity at this time. And I ask that all of you honor yourselves and honor your journeys and continue to strive forward for progression and growth and learning, and to not be disheartened when lessons are placed in front of you, because lessons are there to strengthen you, to help you grow. And your higher self is not embarrassed or worried or angry or judgmental about any of your lessons or any of your decisions that you make. It is the decision that you have made to be in this place at this time, to be making these decisions, learning these lessons, and growing from them. But lesson is not learned unless you can grow from them, and the lesson will continue to repeat until you do. And this is perfectly fine, because one day you will have learned your lesson, and you will be much stronger for it. You will be much much happier for it as well. So remember that as things look very tough right now, they absolutely are, but this is all purposeful, and this is what I have been saying. This is what your spiritual teams have been telling you, and this is what everybody who is watching and helping and interjecting in these sessions has been telling you. And I wanted to place my 2 cents and reaffirm for anybody who feels more connected to me and can take my words of wisdom on board and incorporate them into their lives. And this is why this meeting has been arranged today for me to come in. And I thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for sharing such wonderful advice and wisdom. Can I ask you, um, after the passing, did you go straight to source, or did you do something else?
When you pass, you have the opportunity to remain as an energy around your life, to tie up any loose ends, and to be with the people that are mourning the loss of your physical presence. So when I passed, I did a few things. I potted about, I visited a few people, I sent healing to people, and I sat with people as they managed their grief. Um, this was not singled out to family and friends. This was people that connected with me in a very profound way throughout my career and my life. And it is an opportunity for a soul when they pass to be present at all the stages of the grieving post process, from the removal of the body to the funeral to the after event, to the moments of difficult times that people face. And this is done in a way where you are connected to Source, but not quite a part of Source just yet. There are many stages that a soul has to go through before they fully return back to Source. And it is about life review. It is about experiencing the lessons that you've learned on the planet, and taking fully in the purpose of your life. And there are many processes involved in doing this. Once the string, the tie to this life has been tethered, is when you can fully return to source. But until then, you are still connected to your reality in the dimension at which you reside, until all of your loose ends have been tied up. And this is why you see so many souls who have not fully made the return back to source, because they have not managed to tie up their loose ends. and they have not managed to allow this life to be let go so they can move on. And a lot of my time spent on Earth or in this dimension as a deceased physical body was helping many souls return to source. Um, there were many souls who were unable to pass until I was there to help them. There are many jobs and responsibilities that I had and that we all have once we pass away, depending on where you are in your journey. So that is the answer to your question.
Thank you. Have I connected you with you beforehand in other sessions where you was still part of you was not completely with source?
No,
Okay, thank you.
you would not have been able to connect with me in the same way with the full wisdom of which I possess in this current state that I'm in, while I was still a little bit confused, a little bit unsure what I was doing or where I was going. I was very much going through the motions that each soul must go through, and there is not much time to connect. Um, if you, if anyone did connect with me in those times, you were connecting to my essence, but you were connecting to my, essentially my oversoul, my higher self, and not quite the fully realized um, energy source that would have accumulated to be able to return to source energy, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it does. It's really, really nice. So thank you so much. Um, I have a question. Um, is it challenging to watch people not fully reach their potential, even though you know that people have different journeys and it's free will? Um, when you know someone's really blocking themselves and not taking on their full potential, and how does that feel like? Well, I don't. I'm assuming you or all you're not judgmental, um, but I mean, is the a correct question is how does that feel for you?
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Um, we who pass on to the other side do not feel do not worry or feel in any way stressed as you would feel on this planet when you see someone not fulfilling their full potential. It just doesn't happen like that. The bigger picture that you gain once you return back to your essence is so vastly greater than what you can imagine as a human living in the reality that you currently reside. It is not the same way. We don't have the same emotions. We don't process emotions in the same way. There is very much a understanding, a place of neutrality, a place of complete patience and love and knowledge that everybody's on their own path. And what you see from my perspective is the lessons, the purpose of each individual experience. And once you have that bigger picture, there is complete understanding of why and how they are, uh, where they are, and doing what they're doing. So to answer your question, it doesn't feel like anything really. The higher emotions that we feel in this place is pride and joy um, and encouragement for all. And this is why no matter um, how far down into a dark hole someone can get in the physical life, this is how we still manage and maintain our connections and our help and guidance, because there is no judgment, there is no fear, there is no worry with regards to the journey and purpose because we know what their purpose is. We know why they're here in this moment. And this is our contract with them, is to help them through this, to help them navigate through those lessons and through those moments when they are falling to the wayside or not living up to their full potential. And this is completely contracted and assigned, respective of the person. So that is how we feel.
Thank you. I did a channeling just yesterday, and it seemed like it was kind of tough, firm love, and not necessarily patience and unconditional love. Even though it was loving, it still felt like it was very sort of triggering and stern for many people.
Yes, there is many emotions going on right now on Earth, and the channel that took place where the lower emotions were utilized to portray the message were a mixture of many things. We in this place do not feel those emotions. So we are not angry, we are not feeling impatient, we are not feeling hurt or disrespected by the actions that are taking place right now. You are in that moment releasing the collective consciousness, the collective nature of what is happening right now, the disappointment, the anger, the judgment, the lack of faith, the loss of faith. And you, in that video, were given those emotions to release for yourself onto the people so that they could release and be triggered into a place of growth and understanding of what exactly is the general theme of the earth right now for all those who were wishing for a different outcome. So the channel was beneficial in that way. That was the purpose of the channel. It was releasing and helping other people who were listening to be able to release those fears. And you will notice that if you contacted many of those people, they suddenly have been triggered into healing and into a new mindset. And this is why that channel resulted in those emotions becoming heightened and um, portrayed as lower and aggressive and angry emotions. So it was purposeful. It was how it was meant to be, and it was given to you by us. And but the purpose was for you to help those people to release those emotions that you were portraying in the channel. I hope that makes sense to you.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. Um, and I felt like that was very purposeful to kind of reach people who were at those lower density emotions to kind of be able to uplift them. And all reports seem like people were having such massive releases today and feeling so much more enlightened and more positive. So I can definitely see again what you're saying. So thank you so much for that clarification. I really do appreciate that. And then, Dolores, do you get called in quite a lot?
Yes, all the time, but I have absolutely no problem with it. As I said in the beginning of my connection with you, I absolutely love being reconnected with my former life because it was such a great life and I connected with so many people. And I absolutely love to be called in, to be utilized, to be used. That is my purpose right now, is to help humanity and to help the people that need it. So I am always happy to come in. Although many of the connections that happen are often for me to give guidance to help to redirect somebody. And it is important that when people connect with me, that if the advice that is given from my side is not what the sitter wants to hear, that they still allow themselves to trust the messages. Because I People assume that I never got angry. People assume that when I come in that I will not give the hard truths, and this is just false. I was very prone to anger and irritation in my physical life, and my personality comes through when you connect with me. And this is so you can feel my essence, so you can connect to the person that I was on this planet. So while I do not have those emotions where I am right now, I portray those emotions in my connections to be able to have you feel what and who I was, so that the connection is more cathartic for the sitter. And often that comes with harsh truths and anger and joy and all of the emotions that I was able to experience as a human. So I would ask people not to be deterred by the hard truths that they are hearing when I come in at times. These are all for your benefit. And I have seen many people receive the hard truths and turn away from wanting to connect with me. And I do not mind this. It is their free will, what they want to do. But know that I only ever have humanity's best interests at heart, as I always have and ever have. And this is what I would like to say to all those who are listening, because there are many listening who have fallen into this trap of only allowing information in that they want to hear, and this is creating blocks with the information that comes through. Because I have to be respectful of the intent that is put into the sessions. And if somebody is not wanting to hear the bigger information, or is only wanting to hear something specific that can align with the wantings of their ego, then that is what they will hear. And that is the message they will receive. They will not receive that which they are blocking.
Yes, I think you explained it very well. Explained it very well when you were here, that you're only given the amount of level of information that you're ready for. And also, these sessions are not just empty boosters of emotions and ego. It's giving us the bigger truth so we can find our purpose and path and work on our inner stuff and actually apply it rather than just use this for entertainment. This is an incredibly powerful healing tool.
Yes, absolutely. Again, with healing, it is something that can only be given if you ask for it, or if your intention is that you wish to receive healing or wish to be on the journey of healing. And with blocks in sessions, the healing can be interrupted or not even given at all if the practitioner does not have the best interests at heart. Now, if the client has the best interests at heart, we will be doing it behind the scenes with alignment to the client's wants and desires for the session. But often the practitioner can block the connection, um, um, and the full potential of what a session could be for the client, with ego or ill intentions, not for the want to hurt the client or hurt humanity, but the ill want to do inner work by hearing the full and harsh truths that may deter the path of the practitioner. And this can happen as well with the client, where the practitioner has a full and open heart and wants to help the client. If the client is unwilling to receive the information or has placed blocks on wanting to hear the harsh truths, then is what will take place within the session. And the session will be beneficial in many ways, but the full potential of the session will have not been achieved. And this often is why certain practitioners meet with certain clients, because in those moments the vibrations match and those two need to connect in that way to learn these truths. And this is how the process works. Over time, they will see themselves drifting in a separate direction to potentially another practitioner and client who are fully open and pure with their intentions, and you'll see them drift off in a diverged road with two lanes, moving one direction and the other moving the other. And there are many, many great lessons to be learned with this. But uh, this is why intention and an open mind and lack of expectation within a session is so important for the session to be truly at its peak and at its best.
Absolutely. I really resonate and agree 100% with that. So thank you so much. Um, is there any way that future clients can find out whether their practitioner is the most appropriate? I mean, what would your advice be for to those people who are seeking and searching for a practitioner?
Your gut, your heart will tell you when a situation is right or wrong for you, and if you are allowing yourself to listen to your heart and listen to your intuition, you will never be led astray. um, the purpose of meeting with a practitioner and not feeling like it was the a beneficial session for yourself, or not or entering into an agreement with a practitioner who you felt from the start was not quite what you wanted. There are lessons in there, there is purpose in there, and this is most likely to help you to learn how to trust your gut and to know after a session where you think, do you know, I knew that that session was going to be this way. I knew that I didn't like the attitude of the practitioner, yet I entered into the agreement and the contract, regardless of my own intuition. These are little lessons and steps that help you to be able to remember that feeling of what it was that your gut intuition was telling you. So there's purpose for everything. So my advice to anybody searching for the first time to meet a practitioner for a session, go with your gut, go with your own sensibilities, and enter it with an open mind. And remember that no matter what happens, there is purpose to everything. And if you find that you have entered into a contract with a practitioner who you feel was not right for you and feel like you have wasted time and or money, um, learn the lessons, remember the lessons, be grateful for the lessons, and use your discernment next time, and again until you feel like you have learned that lesson.
Thank you so much. So many people still quote you from when you were alive, and they've set very firmly with what you have said. I mean, they're quoting that you said you would never want to be channeled when you've passed. They also quoting you and saying that this work should not be done online. Um, I mean, obviously, we're connecting with you now online, and effectively, Andre is channeling you. So, what do you have to say for the people who are still unable to understand this work and still hold on to old statements from you as still being current information?
Times are different. A session is most beneficial because, to be done in person, because it involves a one-on-one human connection that is really important. There, if you are trusting a practitioner and a client, there can be handshakes, there can be hugs, there can be embrace, there can be the feeling of having the energy circulate in the room together. I always did want the sessions to always be done in person, and I never had thought for one second that they would ever need to be done online. But as times change and as things come up, this is just another example of how you need to modify and adjust and adapt to life. When life gives you moments of difficulty, you must adapt. And if we were unable to do the work because of the inability to do it online right now, um, we would be taking the opportunity of healing and growth away from all these amazing souls who need it more than they have ever needed it in this time. So I also have to grow with the times. I also have to take steps to move forward with how the planet throws certain things in our way. And if you remember the other day when Siri came onto Andre's laptop and you had to stop the session temporarily, what happened? Nothing happened. You were able to get straight back into the session. When life threw you a little bit of a curveball, you were able to move on with it and continue the session. And that is the worst thing that can happen. If you have good connection and trust in your guides, in your higher selves, if anything takes place where the connection is lost, then the guides will wake you up. You will be woken up and you will just continue on at another time, or able to jump straight back onto the session and continue in that way. I was against technology. I didn't like technology. I didn't like television. I didn't like phones. I had a very, very terrible phone always throughout my life, and I barely used it. I used to use Julia to give me messages all the time. I never really wanted to be involved with any of that technology, and I hated that my videos had to go up on the internet, and but I had to adjust to that at the time, and I was happy that at least my content was out there, even though it was mixed with all the trash that was on that site and has been on many of those sites, and this is just something that I had to adjust with. So, for those who are still questioning whether or not they should be doing sessions online, take it from me now in this moment. I would prefer that they weren't done online. I prefer that we were in a place where we were able to meet in person. But now I've seen, and now that we are able to and now that I have seen the way the world is and that we are now able to use this connection online, I wholeheartedly approve and wish that it be done in any way possible for you and the practitioner to be able to connect and heal and grow and change humanity's consciousness. So I don't mean this in a negative way, but you all need to just pull your finger out and get on with it and stop faffing about and worrying about what I want. Worry about what you want. Worry about having a pure heart and pure intentions. Once those things are set in place, you are unstoppable and you can do anything you want. So that is what I have to say to that.
Fantastic. Absolutely. And why was there resistance from you? Why did you hate technology? Why did you hate phones?
Because throughout my sessions, I knew what was happening with the development of technology. I knew the purpose of it. I knew what it was doing to humanity, and I knew all the sort of ins and outs of the the what technology is being used for. So, in many ways, I see the benefits of technology, but I also see, especially from this perspective, what technology is doing to humanity, and how, under the guise of connection and communication, an agenda is being formed and utilized to keep the population in a state of fear. So I see the benefits and the cons of technology. But when I was alive, I just didn't have any time for it. I didn't want to have to use it. I didn't want to have to learn it. I missed the art of letter writing. I missed the art of writing with your hands. I never typed. I always wrote with my hands and had somebody type for me. It was just something that I just could never connect with and never wanted to connect with. I didn't want it for humanity because the world I was seeing in my sessions was not a world based around technology. It was a world based around communication and embrace and human contact. And this is why I was so resistant to technology. I had to really take a back seat. And as I said before, I had to pull my finger out and just get on with how the world was moving. And I found that with technology, I was able to spread my work so far and wide, and I had to honor that as well. Because remember, when I was on this planet, I was human and I had my own likes and dislikes, and I had my own preferences and felt very strongly for some things and didn't really care about other things. And I lost my temper sometimes, and I was sad sometimes. And I have been put on this pedestal as being this goddess in a human body, and that I was always perfect. And that is not the case. I was misguided with my want to have the sessions done purely only in person to limit the potential of the work. And that was based on my own concerns for humanity. So it all came from a good place. But this is a lesson that I learned also, and a lesson that I would like to pass on to all of you who are listening, who are concerned about connecting through the internet and connecting through technology. The energy is what the energy is, regardless of whether you're in person or whether you're online. The only benefits to having the session being done in person is the human connection, of the physical touch and the physical presence in the same room together, is most beneficial to the success of a session. But if the hearts are pure and the intentions are pure, the energy is not blocked and the session is not blocked by the distance of the practitioner and the client.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So, in terms of your books, how did you go then about organizing and formatting those? Did you write them all out, I mean, or did you use technology?
I use technology to write out the books. When I was talking about um, um, not typing anything out, I meant things like letters and um, like journals, and writings. A lot of the writing for the books I didn't actually physically do myself. I wrote with by hand or on a typewriter. The books were a collaboration of writers who were able to take my writings and create a book format to be able to produce and manufacture books. So it was a real collaboration amongst many people to be able to get my books from what they were on my little tape recorder, and my little note taking pad. I had many people in the room with me doing sessions, and this is the collaboration. We would all work together to create the finished product. So it goes through many stages. And as I said, technology was, yes, definitely used in my work. I'm moving through the process of creating a book, but I didn't do much of the writing of the book on computers. I did parts of it. I used typewriters and journals and collaborations with others who were more technologically savvy than I was.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's really interesting to know a little bit more about behind the scenes. Um, I was curious the other day, I was reading from a practitioner who believed and stated quite firmly that QHHT sessions deal with different divinities and different dimensional beings than BQH practitioners, and that the work is so different that you're connecting to completely different realms or dimensions. I can't remember the exact words, but I sort of laughed because I sort of thought that was interesting, but I could be completely wrong. So is that the case? Is there different sets of afterlife wisdom and higher beings for QHHT sessions and versus BQH sessions?
No, this practitioner is feeling, she's trying to distinguish QHHT as being a more advanced and effective way of connection than BQH. And this is not the case at all. It all surrounds your intention. And you can see yourself through having done BQH sessions and QHHT sessions that you have managed to connect to the same energy sources. Um, that is like saying that if you did a BQH session, a QHHT session, or even just a regular channeling or mediumship session, that you can only connect to certain limits of the realms dependent on your respective chosen method of channeling. And this is just absolutely not the case. So this person is misguided and is trying to distinguish herself as being a more advanced practitioner because of the um, respective method of connection that she uses. And it is false and it is not the case.
Okay, thank you. That was my suspicion. I am concerned, however, because she's a level 3 practitioner.
Yes, moving through the levels does not change your innate sensibilities of what it is that you wish to put out there and achieve based on your experiences and your lessons. It is merely an advancement in the teachings that you receive of the practice itself and the stage at which you are able to fully integrate yourself into the work with more experience. But a person who does one QHHT session in their first day can have a much more effective and mind blowing and profound session than a level 3 practitioner who's been working for 5 years and has done 1,000 clients. They can still have completely different sessions. So it is not about the level at which you are practicing. It is about the intention at which you wish to um, connect with. And this is why Andres had some very successful sessions with his clients in the very, very beginning stages of his career, because his intentions are pure and he does them with love and integrity. And the level at which he is does not contribute to the effectiveness of the connection for his clients. And this is the same for many, many level 1 practitioners out there that we see who are just beginning, but having these incredible and profound experiences with their clients. And I'm so proud of these people who are going into this work with respect for the work and with respect for the entities that connect and with respect for the client and the want to heal that client and help that client in every way possible. And this is why, Joanne, you have been so successful in the short time you have been doing this work. While you have much experience and have done many, 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 many sessions and work your way up through the levels, you still have been doing this for a relatively short amount of time to be at the position that you are with your amazing ability to connect and to heal and help clients moving forward. And this, again, is because of your pure heart. There have been many, many practitioners who have been working for many, many more years than you, who are not able to receive the same connections and levels of information that you are receiving right now. So, to anybody who is worried about these practitioners who are technically experienced and advanced in their levels of the work, everything is purposeful. It is all meant to be the way it is, and the people who meet with this practitioner will be at a level at which they need to be with that practitioner. The vibrations are matching for a reason, because they all need to learn something specific, and this is just the way it goes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And so I just wanted to ask something else and it completely just popped out of my mind. So when people, oh, sorry, yes, a lot of people are questioning and asking me how to go about signing up and starting these sessions. They seem so excited, and it's really exciting because it just seems like there's just more and more people that want to do this work to help, um, which is fantastic. So um, they're sort of wondering whether they should do the BQH or the QHHT. They don't quite know which is which and what would be the best for them. What would your recommendations be?
My recommendation for anybody deciding to sign up and become a practitioner would be to go with your gut, to go within and see what resonates with you and what feels good for you. The QHHT path is a long and windy path, and there is many steps you have to go through to be able to uh, achieve and receive your certificate and your qualification. Um, but there is just as much benefit to QHHT as there is BQH. There's just different methods. If you are looking to have every nook and cranny covered with regards to um, the one-on-one help, the connection with me and my videos and my process of how I went into the work, then the QHHT is for you. If you are looking to be able to put your own spin, your own flair, and your own personality into the work, then I would recommend that BQH is for you. If you are looking to be more unique and we'll say artistic with your approach. It all depends on your personality. There are many benefits for and negatives for both modalities depending on what it is that you are looking for and what type of person that you are. But the ask the universe for help and for signs and know that you will be given those signs when the time is right.
Fantastic. Would you recommend that people have their own sessions first before doing practitioner courses? Or, I mean, I certainly did, and I think I did 40 clients before having my first QHHT session. But is that kind of advisable? I mean, obviously, with letting people use their intuition and follow their gut and their hearts, what would be your sort of take on it?
Exactly that. If you want to have a session just to suss out what it's all about, absolutely go for it. If you are looking to do the work regardless of what the session entails, because you're so inspired to do it, then just go for it. It's up to you. You will know fairly quickly as you start doing the course whether it's right for you or not. What I will say to people who are just beginning to start out, there are many setbacks in this work. And if you are not willing to accept failure as a lesson and moving forward and learning, then this work is not for you. It is all about healing. It is all about connection. It is all about using your gut intuition to be able to lead a session. And if you are not okay with the lessons that you will learn from this work as a practitioner, and the hard truths that come from this, if you're not open and willing to be there as a facilitator for the client, regardless of how you feel, if you're not willing to put yourself to the back burner and have your client be the priority, then this work is not for you. So you will know very quickly as you start to do the course whether you are willing to put in the work to be able to be the best practitioner you can be for yourself and for your clients.
Perfect. Everything else said, I absolutely love that. That is fantastic. Okay, so is there any other information that you would like humanity to know now?
I'd like people to start using their discernment more and to go within. I know you're hearing this a lot from many of the entities that have joined your sessions recently, but that is what it's all about. Once you can truly master your own sovereignty, your own connection with your higher self, with your spiritual team, and with your intuition, you'll be unstoppable. And that is the message that I want to relay onto the people who are listening to this. You are not going within, you are not connecting to your intuition at all. You are looking externally for answers, and this is going to only lead to more disappointment when you see things not turning out the way you think they're going to turn out because you do not understand the plan in its fullest entirety. You are only understanding the plan from face value of what you're seeing on social media and different platforms and from word of mouth. And while the plan is going ahead, while the plan is still in practice, um, there, as we said before, there may be setbacks. There may be more things that you'll have to deal with. And until you learn how to go within and learn for yourself how you feel based on the information, then you will continue to see disappointments and setbacks. And it is only contributing to the vibration of humanity. So we ask that you go within, focus on your life, do your inner work, grow yourself, learn your lessons, and you will start to see your exterior world match that vibration of which you have accumulated through healing and through connection with yourself and your own personal growth. That's really important right now.
Sounds super fantastic. Thank you so much. Yes, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. That is great wisdom for all. Um, I'm getting a sense that we probably won't be seeing New Earth this year.
You'll see me when you see me, but you can connect with me anytime. And
Yeah,
I know this is definitely the answer you wanted to hear right now.
well, because I'm such a perfectly patient human being, I'm totally cool with that. And I am enjoying how everything is unfolding because I'm not getting triggered as much as I used to. So it's like this beautiful balance of neutrality where I'm like, wow, I'm seeing all this craziness, but it's not. I mean, this stuff would have freaked me out. I would have been so scared about the vaccines. I would have been so scared about a whole lot of stuff and panicking and overthinking. I probably would have lost sleep. And I don't feel like that would have been me too long ago. So I'm enjoying this mega fast growth that I am taking this amazing journey on. So yeah, I'll see you when I see you, Dolores, and and I'm totally cool with that.
Fantastic. And you have received so much growth and you have learned many lessons. And just know that if ever you find yourself falling back into those old patterns, you are merely taking another step forward and releasing a little bit more, a little bit more. So continue to do the fabulous work that you're doing on bettering yourself and bettering your clients. And remember, when you give healing to somebody else, you also receive a similar healing for yourself. This is how it works. So, this is why you have received so much growth. And this is why practitioners tend to see so much growth in themselves as they help their clients to grow and evolve with the work.
Yeah, so true. I've definitely noticed that. And but just thank you for that great confirmation because I wasn't really focusing on myself. So now to just be reminded of that actually is part of the parcel of how I've got here. Yeah, I feel really grateful. But I'm really careful. I really want to make sure my clients really just have the best care and love that I can provide, knowing that I'm still growing and stuff. But I am worried that I would, yeah, just, I don't know, I don't want to develop an ego or anything. I'd be mortified. So I'm just really grateful for all of the amazing clients that are being provided because it's just such a beautiful journey. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Um, just beautiful wisdom. I couldn't ask for anything more from you. So thank you very much for making humanity great. I love all that you do for humanity, and I'm just so proud and honored still once again to be able to connect with you and do your work. It's just such a true joy.
It's such an honor. So, I thank you.
Mm, you're welcome. Okay, so we'll say goodbye. We love you, and you can receive to where you belong, which sounds fantastic, by the way. So congratulations getting there. And can we call in Andre's higher self, please?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I know that you allow him to yawn to be able to release the energy and to get deeper into the relaxation. So thank you. I understand that sound now.
Yes. Also, Dolores' energy is so big, it often needs just a little bit more to leave,
Hmm.
um, to fully get rid of the remnants of the energy, because the body wants to keep that gorgeous energy, and Ollie doesn't really realize this um, consciously, but he wants to keep the energy. He wants to be in that lovely state. And he's noticed a shift in his energy, and he likes the shift. He likes his higher self's energy, but Dolores' energy was just so nurturing and warm, like a mother, that it's just sent him into this beautiful place where he just has no recollection of the last however many minutes he was connected with her. He just felt like 2 minutes, and he um, just had to sort of get rid of that energy so that I could return.
Oh, okay. Well, a higher self, could you be just as lovely and do something fantastic for Andre so he can still have a fantastic time being deeply relaxed in the session?
He's very relaxed. It's just noticing the shift, and he is with my energy all the time, and is just used to it. So it's not quite as fantastic as when he connects with another entity and he feels that shift in energy. Um, so it's just how it is. He is very relaxed and um, happy to be here with me.
Are you able to give him a little bit of a spa treatment energy wise in his body?
Yeah, there are certain things that are happening right now. He's noticing his temperature is going up, and he's just noticing almost like he's floating. Um, this is just that deep relaxation. He doesn't have any perspective of his physical boundaries. His body feels like he's a giant. This is just that state of relaxation and not having moved in a while. So we can send him little bits of energy up and down his body. Um, but oddly enough, we don't want him to start itching. So we are sending him through the energy, but it's feeling itchy on his skin. So we're sending it to him a little bit lighter so that he's not disturbed in the session.
Is it kind of electrifying feeling?
Like pins and needles.
Oh, that doesn't sound so fantastic.
It's just the connection with his DNA, the modifying and changing and shifting of his certain little bits of his DNA as he starts, sending more and more and more. And that's what's happening.
Okay. And so, how much would he have to keep shifting his DNA and ascending? I mean, if you gave him a percentage of how close he is now physically, what would you say?
It's so hard to do percentage because it doesn't really work like that. But he is very much um, at a point where he's very close to the next stage. Um, and it all sort of depends on how he chooses to accept the healing and the change and the shift. So, what I mean by that is his diet, his certain activities with his vaping, and with his choices that he makes with regards to his beauty products and certain things like that. These are little things that inhibit the healing and the shift and changes in his body. And this is why he's felt drawn to change his products to natural products, vegan products, to products without the sulfates and the parabens and all that, all those things that are um, negative to the body and are slowly, in a way, poisoning him. And these are the methods that are being used to prevent that connection with the divine, connection with the spiritual body. And um, this is with the healings and the changes in his DNA, he has noticed that he wants to feel more natural and he wants to feel more connected to nature and to the natural products. And this is why we have allowed, when we say allowed, I mean facilitated this workout program that he is receiving because he was out of time. He should have claimed it about a year ago, but it took him about a year to claim it. And he was outside the terms and conditions of being able to claim what he had paid for. But it's important that he does this. It's gonna make him feel better, and he'll notice once he starts to do this and eat better, that he will start to make leaps and bounds and strides in his development.
Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, that is great. And so, can you tell us about his dream that he had when he was on a plane?
Yes, this stream was representative of how he sometimes feels with regards to his work and his job, that he feels like he, by taking time off and by allowing himself to switch off, that he's being perceived by the people he works with, aka his parents, that he's not doing the work and that he is being lazy. But this is not the case. The fear of Andre not wanting to do this work and leaving the business and leaving it all on top of his mother is something that she thinks about often and something that she fears and worries. So this is why Andre sees her being a little bit triggered when Andre has a bad day or wants to rest or doesn't want to work. Um, Also, Andre is a big proprietor of working smart and not working hard. And his mother is the complete opposite of that. She feels like she always has to be working. And this is what the dream represented. It was all about the person in the dream who was stepping away from her job to have a cigarette and um, not taking seriously the job and taking the piss a little bit, you know, by doing constantly having cigarettes and not being present when she needed to be working. That's what the dream is representing for Andre in his waking life. It is just about his perception of how he's being perceived, and he needs to remove that fear and continue to set his boundaries with regards to how he wants to move forward in his life and the work he wants to do.
Hmm. And so, for people who have dreams but aren't able to interpret them because they don't have constant connections to their higher selves, how is Andre supposed to be able to work out that information? How are people supposed to figure out what the meaning of their dreams are when people just think, oh, that was wacky, meant nothing?
If you're remembering a dream and it has an impact on you, then there's a message in that dream. And if you're unable to connect inwardly and connect with your higher self and have the higher self physically tell you what the dream means, ask for a sign from the universe. Ask for the universe to show you what that dream meant and accept the guidance. And what you'll notice is eventually it will come to you and you'll start to understand. You'll just have a thought about what that dream means and it will make total sense to you in that moment.
Almost like a little aha moment.
Exactly.
Okay, those good tools to let people know, because I know so many people experiencing pretty full on dreams right now, and sometimes they're very overwhelming, and they want to just put it down to just my overactive brain. I've heard people blame cheese or what I've eaten something weird that's given me this dream, but it's really you guys, isn't it? Just trying to be not literal but figurative in the messages.
Yes. And it's really about what the dream represents, less about the physical acts or taking place in the dream. Um, so, for instance, Andre is not a flight attendant, and Andre, uh, has never been in the position that he was in that plane. Um, but the message is very clear now that we've explained it to him, and you can see how the interpretation of that dream relates to his life and what he was feeling. And this is how we communicate with you in dreams. Andre also saw Joe Wicks, which is the creator of the program that he's doing, in his dream one time about a month ago. And Joe Wicks was an old man. And the message for that was that time is running out and he needs to get onto the plan before time runs out. So we were showing him, reminding him, get on the plan. And he did.
Fantastic, thank you. So Andre always offers that I can ask some personal questions, so I will take this opportunity to. Is there any reason why I don't recall most of my dreams?
You do so much work in the sessions, you do so much channeling work, you do so much, you seek so much guidance from your waking life. That often the messages don't necessarily need to be given to you in the dreams. They'll come to you through a channel. They'll come to you through a session, or they'll just come to you without needing a place to dream. If you have dreamed and just not remembered it, and if you don't remember it, it's not necessarily something that you need to focus on in that moment. But we will give you things whenever you need to hear them, and that will be in whatever method is the most appropriate for the time. But there's no specific reason by which you don't dream. You do dream, you just don't realize. Dreams are not really dreams like people perceive them to be. It is just a place that you go when you're soul is bored of being in the body and goes away to learn some lessons and to experience something so that your vessel in their waking life can learn from it. So
I just
it's not.
remembered. I just remembered. Sorry to interrupt. I just remembered a recurring dream that I have, which is always different but very similar, about having this big fish tank, like this huge fish tank, and every once in a while I will go in a dream and remember this fish tank, and then I think, oh my god, I need to feed you guys, you must be starving. And the last time I saw all the same fish, they were doing all different things, but there was a new guest in the fish tank, which was a little octopus.
Yes, the fish represent the connections that you have in your waking life and your spiritual life. And the dreams are just letting you know that you're worried to want to heal and connect all the time and to help everybody and to heal everybody is giving you cause for concern. Are you doing enough? Are you satisfying what you're meant to be doing? Is there anything you could be doing differently? Are you letting ego seep in? This is what the fish tank represents. And by you being in the dreams, thinking, oh my God, you must need food, is just, and they don't, because they're all still there. They're all still alive. They're living perfectly as they are. And this is just yourself letting you know that what you're doing is perfect, and the fish are surviving without you always being there, having to constantly nurture them and look after them. You're doing just enough as you are. Um, and the little octopus friend is because you are so connected with that little octopus that you saw in the documentary. You've added that to your list of connections and your um, place that exists within your heart.
I feel like I've never seen as much octopus as I have in my waking days as I have recently. I just feel like there's pottery people making octopus platters. I'm just constantly seeing, I have an octopus colored in drawing from my children on my fridge. I'm just like, I'm surrounded by it, and it's fantastic because each time I see the octopus, I think cycle of life, cycle of life. The beauty of the cycle of life is just so beautiful, so graceful, so silent. And there's so much joy that I have with being reminded of that, so I can understand that. But, and also, I just want to reiterate, I am shocked, like I panic each time I see that fish tank because I think, oh my God, like it's been months. You guys must be absolutely starving. So, yes, thank you for tapping in and understanding why. But yeah, I feel like probably the worst fish tank keeper ever because, I'm not very, I don't feel like I'm very attentive, but in the sense of what you just told me, I understand that. So I respect that. And I'm very grateful for that information. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's fantastic. Okay, so finally, can you give us insight, please, into the YouTuber that we were speaking to earlier before the session? We want to find out their agenda for humanity, please.
You are looking to find out whether she has been compromised or has a negative agenda towards humanity. I know this is not the case. She does genuinely want to uncover truths and to help humanity move forward in their progression. However, she has allowed herself to rely more on needing the praise and needing to be the one who helps. You need to be, as you say, the special little unicorn. And this person is definitely more concerned with ratings, with numbers, and with merchandise, and with being a product, being a brand, than she does about the information. So is she compromised? No. Does she really listen to her higher self? No. So she's not letting anything in with regards to the good or the bad. She's not allowing herself to connect. She's merely going off the outward information, and not sitting with herself to see, does this really resonate? And she is looking to teach others the lessons with spirituality that she is not able to listen to herself and take on her own advice. So with that, she is limiting herself and opening herself up to misinformation and leading people down the wrong path, without actually meaning to. And this is just her not allowing herself to really sit and listen. This is why we keep saying, with all this information, is to listen to yourself, connect with your higher self, allow yourself to really feel into the information, and you'll know what direction you need to take. But this is why your page is so successful without you really doing any branding or anything glitzy and glamorous to it, because it's just what the people want. It's raw information, and your intentions are pure and good, and you listen to your higher self, and you want critique, you want to learn from your mistakes, and you want to help humanity. And this is why the energy from your page is so much different to this other person. But this person does not have a negative agenda towards humanity. In fact, she has a very good agenda towards humanity. It's just her delivery and her approach has been very misguided and misdirected by ego and wanting to be a brand more than to be a genuine information giver, if that makes sense.
Okay. I'm so glad to hear it. I was so taken back that she was still wanting to run with the story, which evidently was false.
That is her ego wanting to um, not accept that the information was not correct. She still actually believes that the information is correct, and that what you proposed to her was incorrect. So it's just herself not allowing herself to listen to her gut and to be open to criticism, and that is a something that she will just need to work on. It's about inner work.
Okay, okay, that's good because I was kind of worried that she was happy to sort of mislead people just for content.
Yes, that is essentially what is happening, but it's not a question of her just wanting to mislead people just to get content. It's her needing the content and not allowing herself to admit that she's wrong, not allowing herself to feel into that feeling. Is this correct? Is this true? Is this right? It's negligence rather than gross negligence, if that makes sense.
It does. Thank you for clarifying. And so I'm assuming then she's a stepping stone when the people keep noticing these kind of issues that will just encourage them to seek elsewhere and hopefully more themselves rather than seeking out that kind of level of, in quotation marks, entertainment.
100%, it's all about the stepping stone. You'll find that many of the um, profiles and pages that you see with this information, there's always something not right about it. There's always something wrong in certain bits of the information. No one has it 100% correct. And that's fine, because now with all these informations, you are awake and open to what is actually going on. So the stepping stone has been beneficial regardless of whether the information has been completely true or not.
Cool. Okay, well, I'm happy with that. Yay for making humanity great again. All I say is, the more support and people aware of more of the truths, the better, I believe. So fantastic. And also, can I ask about one last question? Sorry, before we finish. There is an interesting insect that has been lingering around in my workroom while we were doing these sessions for the last 2 days. Do you want to tell me anything about that little thing?
The insect is, you've heard the adage of a robin appearing at Christmas to keep an eye on the children for Santa Claus. This is essentially support that's being given to you. It's a little gift to you uh, from us, from the people that surround you in your spiritual team. It is just us watching you and helping you and guiding you and showing our presence to you in the physical form. And there's nothing to worry about this insect, um, but it might be beneficial for you to um, sit with it and connect with it if it allow you to be with it. Um,
Yes, it kind of keeps coming on to me, and I'm quite happy that I'm not disturbed by it, but it is an interesting experience. So thank you.
yeah, talk to it, feel its energy. Thank you for being there, and see what happens once you connect with it and it fulfills its purpose. Then it will allow itself to leave you and to get on with its life. Um, Maybe every so often, if it comes near you, sit with it, talk to it, thank you for being there, acknowledge it. And then when you feel like you've made a little bit of a connection with that insect, maybe go over and open a door and see if it flies away. And once it flies away, you'll know that its purpose has been achieved and that it's just about having connection and being acknowledged and allowing you to feel the energy that we're sending you with the insect.
Thank you very much. Is there any final messages that you have for Andre?
Keep going as you're going. Check in with us in a little while. There is potentially just a little bit of an influx of energy coming into your life that you might be surprised by, that you might take a little bit of a drop in your mood, and that's okay. Know that it's purposeful and it's just a stepping stone into the next level for you, and it's all good.
Okay, okay, thank you. Obviously, nothing for him to worry about, I'm sure, but you're just giving him a nice little heads up.
Yeah, just not to be hard on himself or to take it too seriously if he does find himself being a little bit grumpy or moody. This is just releasing and stepping into a new direction, and to just take time for himself, and nurture that. If he wants to sleep on the couch at 3 in the afternoon with a blanket over him because he's having a tantrum, then allow yourself to do that.
Fantastic. He will allow himself to do that and he will enjoy doing that. So fantastic. Thank you so much for all the love and care and support you provide for him and all of the help you provide for me, being curious and learning so much. So really appreciate this. So much love.